It's the Dr. Guido Show, starring Dr. Guido. This week, Dr. Guido is going to talk to you about his action research project. And now, from the Laboratory of Knowledge, it's Dr. Guido.
Hey, yo, how you doing? I'm Dr. Guido here. I'm just working a little bit on the Sunday gravy. And, today, I'm here in the kitchen working on the gravy because I want to talk to you. Month 10. You believe we're in month 10? It's like time is flying, right? And one thing I want to talk about to you, and you better listen, huh? You don't listen, I'm coming after you. But seriously, no. One thing Dr. Guido want to talk about, because in month 10, we're really starting to put this whole thing together. Bam, lip review done. Got to freshen it up, but it's done. Cycle 2's wrapping up, and we got some exciting things in there, which I'm going to talk about in a little bit. But, I really want to delve into what I've discovered in month 10. And the research I've been doing for this blog, I come across some extra stuff. And, we're going to talk in a minute. But one of the things, if you don't mind, I'm going to chop my garlic when I talk to you. One of the things that, we found, and one of the things that we was looking at in sort of this idea, actually, we said, no, I'm just kidding. I got you. I tricked you. You thought I cut myself. I did not. I'm good. Come on, I'm a doctor, right? One of the things that we've seen in looking at in cheating, and what we found when we were looking at the cheating that we was talking about is here, this idea and sort of understanding that cheating is a culture. And this is one of the things we've been talking about, right? And I found this article online by Robert Kennedy, not the dead president, but Robert Kennedy. And this guy has some good ideas on cheating. And he had these 5 steps that he looked at and these 5 things that he talked about that sort of regulated what cheating was, right? So here's what I'm going to talk about. First of all, step 1, you model integrity to your kids no matter what, right? You are a good person. This is what I've been saying from the start. Teachers are a good person and we're good to go, right? Number 2, don't assume young people know why cheating is wrong, right? Hey, ain't Dr. Guido talking about this in the research? We don't know because some of these kids don't know what cheating is. We talked about that, right? And we got to sort of make them understand on a personal level. We got to communicate to them what is wrong with that, right? Number 3, we got to enable the students to understand the relevance of the academic lessons they're learning. If we're teaching them things and they don't understand the relevance of the academic lesson, of course you're going to cheat, right? Because you're like, hey, what do I got to learn this for? I pass the test, I get an A in a class. It ain't good to me. Which leads to number 4, kind of like number 3, but Robert could do what he wants, is the idea that, you got to teach these kids real-world applications. Look, even if, maybe what you're learning is like, the history of something that happened and you can't relate it to your life, but just the habits you're learning from studying is going to help you later in life. We got to teach these kids that. We got to make them understand that, right? Finally, this is the 5th one. You don't force cheating. A lot of teachers, they make them tests and they design their tests and they force what's called underground cheating, meaning, hey, these kids got nothing else to do but cheat, right? So, I got to stir this so the garlic burns and then it doesn't taste good. So one of the things that we see and one of the things that we're looking at is, the kids, they don't understand why they shouldn't cheat. So you know what we got to do? Sometimes we got to take cheating from the top level, and that's how we end it. Mr. Figueroa, what he did was he taught his kids, and he redesigned his test-taking strategies to reduce cheating. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to ask Mr. Figueroa to talk to you. I'm going to get back to cooking. So let me turn it over to Mr. Figueroa. Here you go.
Hey, Dr. Guido, thanks for asking. One of the things that I've found with my students has been successful. Scantron tests and multiple choice tests are good, but these are obviously the tests that lend to the most cheating and the most amount of cheating that takes place. What I did to sort of correct this problem is I stopped giving large portion multiple choice tests. Very often my tests consist of the following. Maybe about 10 to 15 multiple choice questions. Then I have about 5 to 6 short answer questions, and then usually an essay. The reason why I went to this format is twofold. Now what I let my students do is I let them use their notes on their exams. Now I teach religion, so it sort of more leans to this than would maybe a mathematics or maybe even a science. But very many of the social sciences, religion, history, things of that nature, you could obviously do a short answer and essay type test because students then have to explain what they know. Being that they have to explain what they know, I allow them to use their notes on their exam. I found by letting students do this, A, it's reduced the amount of cheating that students do, and B, it makes students a little more attentive when notes are being given. What I do to ensure that students are using their notes and that test information isn't leaving the class, obviously, A, I do different versions of the exam, and B, before the exam, I go around and check the student's notebook and make sure that they don't have anyone else's notes and that it's their notes. I require them to have a certain type of notebook, a 3-ring binder notebook, and then I also mark the notes either with a stamp or a permanent marker to show that I've checked it so it won't show up in later blocks. I found these techniques have A, reduced cheating drastically, and really B, they've challenged my students to critically think on a higher level, and think a little further. Also, the institution of the honor code, having students write this on each exam, I have found that it's reduced cheating. But really allowing students to use their notes is a great technique, and having them do short answer and essay, which really is the way we should be testing our students, because it makes them question things more and really gets the critical thinking going.
Oh, hey, yo, Mr. McCarron, that's beautiful, right? I was going to just put the tomatoes in, but I'll come talk to you real quick. Hey, you know, that's the point that I'm saying, and you're very smart, Mr. McCarron. You took a lot of time. I bet you had a lot of trial and error on that, huh?
Right.
Buddy, well, I'll talk to you later.
No, my pleasure. Anytime, Dr. Guido. We're heading towards the end, and I've really enjoyed working with you.
All right, listen, thank you for joining us for the Dr. Guido Show here from the laboratory of the kitchen. You know, not the laboratory of knowledge, not the garage. And like I said, cheating's like a recipe. We got to reduce the amount of cheating these kids do. It's like putting a recipe together. Bam, we work on that, bada bing, bada boom. They're good, right? You know, we teach them, don't force them to cheat. Don't push them into scenarios. Get them to understand why they're learning what they're learning. These are all things that Dr. Guido's been putting together from 10 months of action research. Everything's starting to flow. It's starting to make a lot of sense, right? Like a recipe. Bam, it's going to be delicious. Speaking of delicious, so I'm going to get back to my cooking. You need anything, you email me, drguidoshow@gmail.com. We're looking forward to wrapping things up. Take care. Good to see you. Month 11's video blog is going to be off the chain. All sorts of results and information. Forget about it. I'm out of here. All right, I'll talk to you later.